I want to ask you about a new Gallup poll showing a record low number of Americans are extremely or very proud to be American. Only 58% of respondents, that's 9 points down on last year and 5 points down on the previous low in 2020. But what stood out to me, Sean, was that the poll seemed to divide along political lines. The level of national pride among Republicans, that was around 92%, but amongst Democrat voters, only 36% said they were proud to be American. And the other trend seems to be where the embracing of woke ideology and a decline in national pride go hand in hand.
Yeah, in that poll, the two groups that really drove it down were Democrats and young Americans. And it's sad on both fronts. One, for young Americans, I truly am concerned about the impact of social media and our K through 12 education system here. Among Democrats, it is really concerning. And we saw this, 2 weeks ago now in America. We celebrated the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary. This was an opportunity to pay tribute to the over 1 million soldiers that have died and sacrificed to our country. Later this year, we will celebrate the U.S. Navy and the Marine Corps, and then next year, our country as a whole. I feel like for all of the protesting that these folks do and the talk about the Constitution, they should love America because it's the only place on earth that gives them the forum to say the stupid things that they do. If they really don't like it, then here's my suggestion. Leave. I think, frankly, at some point, President Trump should issue, support legislation that would give people a voucher to leave the country if they don't want to be here. We'll give them the money to travel somewhere else as long as they promise to never come back. If you don't find America the most amazing place on earth that gives you the right to express yourself, both in terms of opinion and religion and so many other ways, then don't stay. Leave. And I'm tired of these people who are out there bad-mouthing the United States. You may not like one party or another, but at the end of the day, it's this country, our Constitution, our system of government that allows people to protest, to express themselves freely. And it is the system of laws that so many around the world seek to come here for. So my message is simple. I'm saddened by those numbers, especially when I look at the number among young Americans. But with respect to older Democrats, my message is simple. If you don't like it, then leave.
Well, Sean, let me give you an example of part of the problem. New York mayoral candidate Zohan Mamdani. Have a listen to him.
We went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed.
This is a 33-year-old guy with very little life experience, smooth talking, but he's calling for white people to face higher taxes, for the intifada against Israel to be globalised, and for rich people to be penalised. You'd think his policies would be toxic, but he won the Democratic primary in a canter. The mayoral election is on November 4. What chance is he to become mayor of New York? And what's the future of the city if someone like that is successful?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. Number one, I think he's the front runner, no question about it. Being the Democratic nominee in New York is a big deal. I think Mayor Adams has an uphill hill to climb. He's probably the only viable alternative right now. That would require Republicans and independents rallying behind him. But look, if you had to put money down, I'd say there's a better than not chance that he is the mayor-elect in November of this year. That should be scary, though. So number one, if you took out the word white and added black or Asian or any other ethnic group, there would be an outcry about racism. But you heard Kristen Welker there, and this is the beauty of what his candidacy is. In any other situation, that would be getting called out on his economic views that pull race into. But the media in our country is probably mostly in line with him, so they give him a pass. It's patty cake with these guys on the far progressive left, whether it's him or his colleague AOC just down the way in there in New York, Ilhan Omar in Minnesota. the ridiculousness of this. And then you get to what would become of New York. Think about this. He wants to take over government control of supermarkets. He wants to defund the police so that when you call NYPD, instead of an armed officer coming there to take care of the situation, a social worker would show up, which I'm sure sends chills down the backs of every criminal in New York City. This is insane. And I still can't believe that Democrats are willing to embrace this guy and not call it out. I cannot believe we're at this place in the country where this guy wins. You know, when Republicans have in the past elected somebody outside the mainstream rather, the calls have been far and wide to denounce the candidate, to not do it. And it's quite the opposite here. People are like, when are you going to endorse Mondami? When are you going to do an event with him? They encourage it, because I think the difference in our country right now is that most of the media is actually sympathetic to many of his views.
It's quite astonishing. Hey, Sean, just one more question. We're almost out of time, but on Monday, Benjamin Netanyahu will visit Donald Trump in the White House. What will be the focus of those talks? Obviously, the alliance and the friendship between the US president and the leader of Israel is very strong. A pretty important meeting on Monday, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think there's going to be two things. One, the obvious focus is Iran and the aftermath of the airstrikes on those nuclear facilities in Iran, and what does the path look like going forward for the region and potential talks among those, us, Israel, and Iran, to make sure that they don't ever possess a nuclear weapon. So I think that's going to be the foremost. But the last time that the prime minister was in D.C., I had the opportunity to meet with him, and trade is still something that's pretty high up on the list. We have a pretty decent trade relationship with Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu told me that he feels very confident that he can get a deal with President Trump. And I think they want to be among the first countries to announce it. So I think obviously the top 3 or 4 things on the agenda are going to be Iran, and then we'll get to trade.
Very good. Well, Sean Spicer, it's always a delight to chat with you. Thanks for joining me this evening.
You bet. Thank you.